Well, welcome in to My Dogs Are Barking on MPW Digital. My name is Landon, and I'm so excited for this Thursday edition of the show where we will be mentioning the portal. And with the portal Giveth 3.0, I think we're on. We're talking about Mississippi State's newest portal additions, two different Mississippi State Bulldog new members for Mississippi State Bulldogs basketball team, men's team. We will be discussing today as Mississippi State brings in forward Sam Walters from Michigan and also Amir Ali from Arizona State. We'll talk about both of those players. And then at the end of the show, talk about what I think fans can take away most out of the spring game for Mississippi State this Saturday. Kind of a different feel. And obviously, spring games are kind of going out the door anyway. So it is going to be a different feel, though, overall, I think, for a lot of people. Compared to just kind of years past. I mean, even Alabama in Tuscaloosa had their show or had their spring game be a spring kind of practice. So kind of a different feel, but very glad you're joining us today. And man, excited because the portal is bananas today on April the 17th. So many people entering in. PJ Haggerty just declared, not declared, but entered the portal. And crazy stuff because also the football portal opened, I believe it was yesterday as well. So like there's craziness going on in the world. And you know what all of it is? Here's the deal. If you watch the show for any time, you know that maybe, just maybe, some of those guys are just entering the portal to try to get rich. But you know what? What does it mean to be rich? Maybe it's less about reaching a magic number, more about discovering the magic in life. Skip Langley is your Batesville, Mississippi, Edward Jones financial advisor serving clients in the area and across the state of Mississippi. Count on him for financial strategies that can help you support a life you love because the key to being rich is knowing what counts. So contact him today at 662-563-9843. And together, you can find your rich. Edward Jones, member SIPC. And so, yeah, very excited. Thank you. Are very, very thankful for Skip. And you know, another group of folks we are thankful for is our other sponsor, ARPA's. They're in the heart of the Cotton District. ARPA's is a phenomenal place to go. It's such a great spot in Starkville, in the Cotton District. It's going to be awesome because whenever the Dots and Dash, the Starkville Derby is here in a couple weeks, it's going to be right next to ARPA's. You need to go grab some coffee. And look, whenever you're in there, we'll save you some money, 15% off of your order every single time you're in there. Just whenever you go to the checkout, make sure you mention, hey, I'd like the 15% off discount for being a My Dogs Are Barking listener. Boom, 15% off. You go the next day, 15% off every single day. You can also get these freaking sweet mugs there as well. So make sure you do that. Also, shout out to ARPA's because they sponsored our bracket challenge and had a listener of the show got a $25 gift card to ARPA's. So they just take care of us, man. And so make sure you give Jose and his team some support. So the transfer portal for Mississippi State, and the past couple of days have not been great for State in the portal for men's basketball. Keyshawn Murphy, who had already entered the portal and honestly had entered the past 2 years in a row, entered and he ended up going to Auburn. So State's kind of in flux because Riley Kugel has entered the portal and a couple other contributors and Michael Nwoko, and then all of a sudden Josh Hubbard declares for the draft, and so now where are you going to go? Hubbard still maintained his eligibility, but a lot of different spots that State still needs to fill. And they got two guys today, and there's some more stuff cooking, but we'll discuss some of that. But the two guys Mississippi State was able to pull, one of them being Amir Ali from Arizona State, 6'8" forward/guard, probably going to be playing more of the three. Was a 4-star prospect in 2024. A talented guy, but did not start a lot of games at Arizona State. Averaged 5.5 points, 3 rebounds. I think the most disappointing part, I think if there's any State fans thinking about what kind of player is State going to get, he's not a shooter. Really struggled for shooting the ball, 32% from 3 on 92 attempts. Now, he did improve a lot. Like over the past 10 games, he averaged almost 9 points and 5 rebounds. So he had 18 points against a really good Texas Tech team earlier on in the season. And so I would say he's got a lot of potential. That's what you're looking at. But he's also got a lot of size. I mean, that's the great news. You're looking at a guy who can play the 3. He's got more size than Kugel and looks to be a player that you're going to lean on defensively. So that exciting upside, I would say. And then the other one that just happened, Sam Walters commits to Mississippi State, the former forward from Michigan and from Alabama, 6'10", 200-pound sophomore, is going to play the 4 position and can shoot the 3. He is a career 38% three-point shooter. got to be excited about that. I mean, he just didn't get a lot of playing time at Alabama. Even that Final Four team, he averaged, I think, 10 points, 10 minutes a game or so. So he got in some. I might be overstating that. I think maybe a little less than that. But in Michigan, he did not get a lot of playing time at all. Averaged about 5 points per. But he can shoot, and it's going to be kind of a different dynamic. You think about Keyshawn Murphy. Keyshawn Murphy had the ability to kind of get some high percentage shots around the rim, but not a 3-point shooter. Sam Walters is going to be your shooter on the wing, and now all of a sudden you really can stretch out this offense. I think State getting Sam Walters shows what Chris Jans is going for, because all of a sudden, you got Hubbard, who's a 3-point guy. Ali's not going to be your 3-point guy. Sean Jones can, he can be effective from three at times. Then you have Sam Walters out on the wing, and now all of a sudden you just you stretch the ability to have them to go chase somebody else from three, to where now, in the regular season last year, Cam Matthews gets the ball on the wing, you don't have to really have to worry about it. Keyshawn Murphy gets the ball on the wing, you don't really have to worry about it. They're hoping to kind of be able to stretch the floor a little bit, and because State brought in Quincy Ballard at the 5, now you have a guy who's able to rebound, because he's a big girthy guy to get the transfer from Wichita State. So I like what State's doing, adding some shooters, and honestly adding a lot of size, because the other guy State is in some extensive talks with is Anchor. I probably pronounced that wrong, but the 6'9", I said that correctly, 6'9" guard. He's a guard at 6'9" for Kansas State. Averaged 7 points this year for Kansas State, but before then, he played 2 years at Samford, and in the second year at Samford, he averaged 16 points a game. Shot the ball almost 44% from three. So you're getting a better 3-point shooter if you're able to lock down Anchor. So I mean, you get him along with Ali. You got Sean Jones Jr. You got King Grace, the 4-star true freshman, coming in. You got Josh Hubbard. You got Jabari McGee. I don't know if you take another guard if you're able to get him. So that's going to be interesting. You'll have several guys who can play there. Then, at your 4 positions, don't forget, you got Jamarion Fleming, who can play the 4 or the 5, the Mississippi Player of the Year, and T. Bartlett, who's a really kind of a thick guy around the rim that can kind of rebound. I'm really excited about him being able to come in. So State is adding some talent to this team after losing Keyshawn Murphy, and that's a blow. There's no way around that. Losing Keyshawn Murphy is a blow to this team, but they are adding some pieces I think people can be excited about. State has not had a guy like Sam Walters in a little bit. They have not had a guy who at the 4 position that can shoot the 3 like this in a long time. I don't want to say like maybe ever, but I mean, Rayburn Johnson sometimes would slide to the 4, but he never should have. He was tiny, and Sam Walters is tiny. He's 6'10", but I mean, he's 200 pounds. He's not a guy that's got a lot of weight on him. But I do like what Mississippi State's doing in the portal from that perspective. You hated to miss out on some of those other guards, because you'd love another guy to be big and can shoot alongside Hubbard. We'll see how it goes. McGee is not a big guy, so he can kind of lead the second unit. But I think to add someone who's a better shooter at the 2 would be ideal, but we'll see. And King Grace is a very good player as well. You wonder how many minutes he can get as a freshman. So when we come back, we will discuss Mississippi State spring game on Saturday and some things to look out for Mississippi State fans. So we'll be right back. You're listening to My Dogs Are Barking on MPW Digital.
All MPW Digital podcasts are brought to you by our friends at Parish Brewing Company, located in the heart of Cajun country in Broussard, Louisiana. Parish Brewing Company's simple goal is to make awesome craft brewed beer, and they do it remarkably well. The doctor is introducing their new go-to IPA, Dr. Juice. It's a highly crushable juice bomb, dry hopped with a blend of their favorite hand-selected hops from the Yakima Valley in Washington. Dr. Juice's drinkability is sneaky good, considering it clocks in at 6% ABV. The pour glows a rich cantaloupe hue with a thick frosted haze, soft mouthfeel, an aroma and taste that's full of passion fruit, papaya, and blood orange, making it drink like a glass of freshly squeezed juice. They also have Ghost in the Machine. It's a double IPA brewed with obscene quantities of hand-selected Citra hops from Yakima Valley. Expect pungent grapefruit flavors and aromas, tropical fruit, less harsh bitterness than most IPAs. Again, it's Parish Brewing Company. Wherever you get your beer, check out Parish. Make sure that you look for them because any beer that you get from Parish is going to be absolutely outstanding. Thank you from MPW Digital. We're brought to you by Easy Hemp Company. Easy is a hemp-infused sparkling water. It's a guilt-free alcohol alternative, a natural way to relax and unwind. It's all natural. Made with real fruit, no added sugar, low calories, gluten-free. One 12-ounce can of Easy has 3 milligrams of THC. With Easy, it's easy to avoid the gummy scare and control your experience. So change the can, not the ritual. It's easy. Visit easyhempco.com to view the Easy Finder to find Easy near you. Easy is Farm Bill compliant with hemp derived from THC, CBD extracts. Easy is for people 21 and older. Enjoy responsibly.
So this Saturday, Mississippi State has their spring game. The gates open at 11 o'clock, kickoffs at 12. It is kind of an interesting deal because this game is only scheduled to last for an hour. It's going to be very quick. There's been no formal like depth chart released for people to see, and that's been like that the entire kind of spring. They've not released anything like that. But one thing I wanted to discuss is some of the things that I think State fans might be able to pull from this. Oh, also I want to mention this: the spring game will not be televised. You can listen through the Bulldog Sports Network radio, but there's not going to be any sort of um, because so many teams are not airing the game. I'm not really sure why, but they're just not. The only one SEC school is, but that's gonna be kind of odd. So it kind of makes you want to make sure you go to so that you can like pay attention and see some of the things in person. But they're not going to get a lot of people who travel and people who go, hours of a drive just to watch a 1 hour game. I would think. I don't know. We'll see. But here's what I wanted to cover with this: is what can you really take away from a spring game? I think there's going to be um, a little bit of a theme after the spring game that I for whatever you can pull out of the spring game. I'll say this: last year, what we saw to Kevin Coleman in the spring game was a taste of what he could do. And in the spring game, I even remember that was the first. I think that was like the first event that we were credentialed to cover as a part of the podcast. And I remember seeing Kevin Coleman and tweeting like, "This guy looks like he's about to be a big part of this offense. He's just so quick. He was twitchy." I think there's some things that you can pull from Mississippi State that I think that you'll see on Saturday. Here's one of them. Kamario Taylor is going to be a guy that people talk a lot about after the spring game. I think when people see him and see the way he lines up, see how athletic he is, people are going to be excited about him going into the fall. And I'm going to be honest, people are going to be thinking, just because of how overreactive people can be, the moment Shapen makes a mistake in a game, they're not going to be saying get Luke Kromenhoek in there. They're going to be saying get Kamario Taylor in the game. Right or wrong, you know, I think just when people see the way, I mean, seeing him in practice was last week in person. He's man, he just looks so good and so natural. He gives you a lot of things to be excited about, and because of the kind of the temperature of the transfer portal and everybody leaving really really quick, you do have to wonder, okay, well, how long is he going to stick around without playing? So I think people were going to see Kamario Taylor and be very impressed. I think that's going to be a big theme. I also think that people are going to look at the wide receiving core and see as Anthony Evans is the leader in terms of, I mean, just pure speed. The transfer from Georgia, a lot of talent, but wasn't able to get a lot of playing time at Georgia. I think that people are going to walk away seeing that he has got a lot of speed and a lot of talent. Brennan Thompson is probably the fastest guy on the team. And so they might be able to see a couple flashes from him, but I think Anthony Evans is a guy that after Saturday, people are going to be excited about him. And then also think about the running back room. Davon Booth, Paul Jones reported Davon Booth looks noticeably slimmer, noticeably in better shape than last season. And of course, last season he really started to take off towards the end of the season and do better and better. I think people are going to see Davon Booth and be very impressed. And then Fluff Bothwell at the 2 are kind of almost interchangeable between 1 and 1. And then true freshman Colin Wilson is making a lot of impressions. And don't forget, Johnny Daniels is there. Like, I mean, State's running back room is pretty solid. I would expect a guy or so to leave in the spring just because there's so much talent in the running back room. So I think people will also look at that and be very excited. And then lastly is the defensive line. I think you'll be more impressed with the size of Mississippi State's defensive line than in certainly compared to last year. There's just last year was quite literally the least amount of talent I've ever seen from Mississippi State defensive line. And Dontae Russell just entered the portal yesterday. Um, Even with that, State has a lot more. I'm not going to talk about production, but there's a lot more size that you can go. Okay, well that guy at least looks like a defensive lineman in the SEC. I mean, last season was just rough in terms of what you could look at on the floor and go, okay, or look at on the field and go, okay, well at least they look like a defensive line from the SEC. There just wasn't a ton of that this past season. And then also, hey, Mississippi State baseball. We'll swing to that real quick before we get out of here on this quick episode. Just want to be able to touch base. Mississippi State takes the series versus Alabama unexpected. I know there's been a lot of pressure on Chris Lemonis, and don't get me wrong, there still is, but that was a huge win for Mississippi State, to quote the great Rick Stansbury. And State this weekend has a series at home versus the Florida Gators, and that's going to be a very exciting matchup because Florida is a very talented team, very talented. And if State is somehow able to find a victory over Florida, man, they will be the not crickets when it comes to not crickets when it comes to the argument of Lemonis, but they'd be in a good spot. Now they're not the team that they were the past few years. They did good in the first half of the season, but then they've just in SEC play they've struggled a little bit. Just now coming off of a series win though against Missouri. The 10th and the doubleheader on the 12th. So they got the series win there, but they're coming into Starkville, and Mississippi State would be in a wonderful spot if they're able to win that game. Just puts them in a really good spot for the rest of the season. But the win versus Alabama, let's just be honest, was not expected. Alabama's the 12th team in the nation, and have been really, really hot. Have one of the best freshmen in the nation. And then, of course, State was coming off of they beat South Carolina in the series, but South Carolina's not been, the red hot team they had been beforehand. But all of a sudden, you look at Mississippi State and you go, well, wait a minute, they've won what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of their last 7. State's improved, and after this weekend with Florida, Mississippi State has Ole Miss there in Pearl at Trustmark Park on a Tuesday night. So before going to Auburn next weekend, so a lot of challenges for the Mississippi State baseball team. It's been a different year, but look, that's just kind of how it works sometimes in baseball when it comes to getting hot. And States have their ups and downs with in season play, only for them to get hot. Or pardon me, in conference play, only for them to get hot a little bit later on. And you never know, that might be what's going on, with this team. So, but we're looking forward to continuing to cover the portal, continuing to cover who Mississippi State brings in for the hoops. And at some point, hoops kind of simmers down, and we'll get to that point in a little bit. But for now, we want to keep you updated on the portal and kind of where Mississippi State is for the team. But I think it's very possible to expect Mississippi State to have a different looking team going forward. So we thank you guys so much for listening, as always, to My Dogs Are Barking on MPW Digital. Make sure you catch us next week. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful Easter with your family, and enjoy the time with family and friends and your church family. It's going to be an awesome weekend. So happy Easter. Thank you so much for listening to My Dogs Are Barking on MPW Digital. We'll holler at you next time.